Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is episode 3 of my year-long seminar on the science of Kirtanam. So, where we left off, Narada Muni has come at the opportune moment when Srila Vyasadeva is feeling very much distressed at heart. Vyasadeva had edited the Veda, one Veda, and broke it out into 4 divisions so that it could be more easily understood. Then he took everything that was in the Vedas, and in order to explain beyond the Vedas, because as we learn from Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas deal mainly with the 3 modes of material nature. But what about beyond material nature, transcendence? Therefore, 108 Upanishads explains what is beyond the modes of material nature. Then, not to be satisfied yet, he then took everything in the Vedas and the 108 Upanishads and explained it in the Puranas. And Vyasadeva understood that not everybody is in the same category. It is not that one size fits all. Some people are in the mode of ignorance. Some people are in the mode of passion. And some in the mode of goodness. So there are 6 Puranas for each of these 3 divisions of human beings. Then he also did not leave out Stri Sudra Dvija Bandhunam, the women class, the worker class, and the Dvija Bandhus, those born in higher class, but who do not act or behave like a higher class. They are called Dvija Bandhus. They're not Brahmanas. They're friends of Brahmanas, because as we learn from Bhagavad Gita, this division, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, is not by birth but by training. It is by how you actually work. In that verse in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna uses the word karma, not janma. A person is judged by how he behaves, not simply because they were born in a prestigious family, but how does someone actually live? So for the women, for the laborers, and for these Dvija Bandhus, there is the great Mahabharata. In that Mahabharata, the most important section is Bhagavad Gita. If one reads Mahabharata but does not understand Bhagavad Gita, read it again. Because the whole target of this Mahabharata is to get the reader to Bhagavad Gita. Then Vyasadeva composed his masterpiece. Just like a student in college, before he gets the degree, he has to write his thesis, his master thesis. So Vyasadeva wrote his master thesis known as Vedanta Sutra. The Vedanta Sutra is for a particular class of person. Number one, expert in Sanskrit. Number two, by training and qualification, actually on the Brahminical platform. And not only that, Vedanta Sutra is written in codes. Just like Hiran, you are writing computer codes, yes? Yes? Yes. So if he was to show me his thing, what is this? Because I don't understand the codes, but you do. Because you have the training. So Vedanta Sutra is like that. It's written in codes. And the Vedanta Sutra is all based on 108 Upanishads. So there is a lot of prerequisite before you can understand Vedanta Sutra. As I said, it's not for everybody. Only a select group is capable of understanding Vedanta Sutra. So one day, Vyasadeva, sitting in his cottage, he doesn't live in a palace. He lives in a little cottage, yet he is able to write and compile all this Vedic library by living in a little cottage. And he lives very austerely, practicing severe penances and austerities. One day he wakes up, he does his bathing, he sits down for his sadhana, daily spiritual practice, but he does not feel right. Something is pinching him. The mind is disturbed. He has an idea what the problem is at that very moment. Narada Muni Bhajai Vina RadhaRaman Name. Narada Muni appears. And Vyasadeva, even though he's Bhagavan Rishi, even though he's empowered incarnation of God, he bows to his guru, Narada, and says to his guru, please find out the root cause of my problem. I always give the example. When you have some bodily issue, some pain that doesn't go away, you go to the doctor. You don't want the doctor just to... You want that what's the root of my problem? Let's get to the root. Let's not deal with the symptoms. I want to know what is really causing this problem. So Vyasadeva says to Narada, please find out the root cause of my dissatisfaction. Vyasadeva can figure it out, but Guru is there to confirm. Guru is there to, yes. So, immediately what does Narada do? Chastise. Guru is not there to pat you on the back. Guru is there to chastise you. Bhagavan Rishi is getting chastised by Gurudev Narada. Narada says, Vyasadeva, you are thinking that the body and mind is the subject matter of self-realization? You should know better than this. He says, your problem is you have compiled and written all these Vedic books, but you missed one very most important thing. You forgot Krishna and pure devotional service. That is the root cause of your problem. Yes, Krishna is mentioned in the Puranas. Krishna is mentioned in Mahabharata, but he's not explained fully, properly. Therefore, in this section of Bhagavatam, Narada explains to Vyasadeva that he should now compile Srimad Bhagavatam. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam picks up where Bhagavad Gita leaves off. The conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is to surrender to Krishna exclusively. Mam ekam sharanam. Exclusive surrender to Krishna. Bhagavatam picks up from that point. And the whole Bhagavatam is based on one line. There are 18,000 slokas in Bhagavatam. All those 18,000 slokas are explaining one line of one verse. Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is not an incarnation. He is the source of all other incarnations. There are so many kinds of incarnations, doesn't matter. The origin is Krishna. And Bhagavatam is explaining, you all know, in all these other Vedic literatures, 4 things are being explained: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Bhagavatam goes beyond that. Bhagavatam is explaining love of God, prema, panchama purushartha. It's explaining pure devotional service to Krishna. And Bhagavatam explains Krishna and how he relates to his pure devotees. As the very second verse of Bhagavatam says, dharma projita kaitavotra. Right from the very beginning, Bhagavatam is making a disclaimer. When you buy some equipment or you buy a product, sometimes there's what is called a disclaimer that you cannot expect this, or this is the exception. So the disclaimer of Bhagavatam is dharma, no. Artha, no. Kama, no. Moksha, no. Prema, bhakti. This is the disclaimer of right from, because according to Bhagavatam, dharma, artha, kama, moksha is kaitava, cheating in the name of religion. And that was another thing Narada said to Vyasadeva, another chastisement. He said to Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva, you have done all these books, but what have you done? You have encouraged people to enjoy the material world in the name of religion. And Narada says this is verily condemned. So the Bhagavatam is based on the principle that religion is not about becoming materially happy or becoming materially improved. That's not Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is about full surrender to Krishna, service to Krishna, and developing love of God. Other than that, kaitava, cheating. Cheating in the name of religion. Encouraging people to perform religious practices, but what's their intention? Let me get fat and happy. And at the end, let me go to heaven and enjoy. Or let me merge, become one with the Almighty. It's all selfish. Whereas bhakti is a completely different thing. Bhakti means, in materialistic religion, in Kaitava Dharma, the whole mantra is, God, give me. God, I want. But in Bhagavatam, there's no question of give me. How can I serve you? It's a whole different mentality. The bhakti program, the Bhagavatam program is, my Lord, how can I serve you? It is completely selfless. It's the pure devotional platform. So, Narada gives many instructions to Vyasadeva how he should compile Bhagavatam. At some point, towards the end of his instructions, he comes up with this mantra. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyang Vasudevaya Dhimahi Prajumna Anirudhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha. So this is a Gayatri mantra. Why? Because it has that word, Dhimahi. Whenever that word Dhimahi appears, that means, this is a Gayatri, this is a meditation. It's different caliber of prayer. Meditation, Dhimahi. So, he's saying to Vyasadeva, let us meditate on Bhagavate, God. And this particular is called Chaturvyuha, the four. Vasudeva, Prajumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshan. These are all expansions of Krishna. Krishna is Adi. These come after. So, Vyasadeva hears this from Narada towards the end of Narada's instructions on how he should compile Srimad Bhagavatam. Then, Narada says this verse. Iti murtya bidanena mantramurtam amurtikam yajate yagya purushang sasamyag darshana puman. This is such a nice thing that Narada is instructing Vyasadeva. This is supplemental. Because what's happening is that after Narada explains to Vyas how he should compile Bhagavatam, Narada begins to explain his own self-realization. Narada is a very unique personality. He knew who he was in his previous 2 births. He knew that he used to be a Gandharva, and he was cursed to take birth as a Sudra because he misbehaved in one of these. This is called Sankirtan Yajna. In the heavenly planets, they also do this Sankirtan. Believe it or not. They also do Sankirtan from time to time. And Narada misbehaved because Sankirtan means Hari Kirtan. Nobody else. Narada was a beautiful demigod. And when they were doing Sankirtan, glorification of Hari, what did this? His name was Upabarhana. He wasn't Narada, he was Upabarhana. So he was surrounded by some beautiful women, and he started to glorify the Devatas. Not allowed. That's a disturbance because they were doing Sankirtan. Sankirtan does not mean Anya Devata. Sankirtan means Hari Kirtan, Krishna Kirtan, nobody else. But he decided, no, let's tout the glories of the other demigods. The Prajapatis, the GBC, the managers of the Sankirtan. Hey, what is this nonsense? You should not belong here. Go, take birth as a Sudra, because that is your mentality. He lost his beautiful Gandharva body and took birth as the son of a maidservant. That was his second birth. And he's explaining to Vyasadeva what was that birth as a young son of a maidservant. And he explains how, by following the instructions of the Bhakti Vedantas, he was taught bhakti. You have to be taught bhakti. Just like if you want to learn anything, you have to be taught. You want to be a master of anything, you have to be taught. So this verse, Narada says, thus, one is the actual seer who worships in the form of transcendental sound representation the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who has no material form. So, this term, actual seer, in the second canto, when Shukadeva Goswami is beginning his instructions to Parikshit, he says, Pashyannapi na pashyati. People who are not spiritually trained, they see things, but they're not really seeing. I have seen my grandfather has died. I have seen that my father has died. But I'm thinking, I'm not going to die. I'm seeing, but I'm not actually seeing. Most people in the world are in that category. They're seeing everything going on day after day after day, but they're not really conscious of what's going on. They're seeing, but they're not actually seeing. When you have a spiritual master and when you do sadhana, now you're beginning to see. There is a nice statement by Krishna in the Uddhava Gita where he says that when you're on the platform of self-realization, Krishna tells Uddhava, you will see things the way I see them. That's called reality. What's going on in the world, this is not reality. This is a dream. For some, it's a bad dream. For others, not bad. Some good, some bad. But it's still a dream. But when you come to the platform of self-realization, like they say, the third eye, right? You actually see the veil is removed. And you see, and Krishna says, you will see things the way I see them. Krishna is never an illusion. He sees. Just like when Putana came, she had transformed herself to look like Lakshmi. And she came to Yashoda and said, I want to nurse your baby Krishna. Now, the residents of Vrindavan, they thought, oh, Lakshmi has come to feed Krishna. Yes, but Krishna was not fooled. Even though Krishna is 1 month old, he knows this is not Lakshmi. This is Putana, an evil witch. That's why he closed his eyes. He could not see the ugly, sinful face of Putana, even though she was disguised as Lakshmi. He could see right through the disguise. Same as Shurpanakha, right? She also did the same trick. But Ram knew, this is no beautiful woman. This is an ugly witch. So God sees things as they are. We are not on that platform yet. But if you're doing sadhana, one day you will see things as they are. So Narada is saying the actual seer, one who can actually see what's taking place. What does that actual seer do? He worships God, but in the form of transcendental sound representation. This here is the Hare Krishna movement. The Hare Krishna movement is based on this transcendental sound vibration. Yes, we worship the deity. We read the scriptures. But what is the main practice? The main practice is worshiping in the form of transcendental sound vibration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sound, but transcendental sound. When the early devotees joined Prabhupada's movement in the 60s, what did the Westerners say? The Westerners used to say, oh, you Hare Krishna chanters, you're hypnotizing yourself. Why don't you chant Coca-Cola? They used to say that. They thought, well, Hare Krishna, Coca-Cola, the same thing. No. Coca-Cola is, first of all, poison. And second of all, it's a material sound vibration. Hare Krishna is not a material sound vibration. It is transcendental sound vibration. Trust me. I'm not going to spend hours every day vibrating some mundane sound vibration. But I will spend hours every day vibrating transcendental sound vibration, sound which is imported from spiritual world, not China. Sound that comes from the spiritual sky. So Hare Krishna is transcendental sound. Being transcendental, it means the sound and the object the same. Here is water. I am thirsty. Water, 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 water. Am I quenching my thirst? No. Why? It's not transcendental. I need the object. The sound water is very different from the object water because it's material. But on the